Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we are tapping into our French supply again with a stout by the Malt Brothers. This is a beer that the brewer was particularly proud of because he made a light 6% ABV stout. So I am very eager to try this out. According to the label, it is quite dry and relatively bitter, so we'll see about that. And it's made with water, malted barley, hops, yeast, and sugar. Now, after all these Baltic porters, for example, I kind of like light stouts, light porters, and I've heard about Giovanni Christis, who has been working with a light fermenting yeast to make a very flavorful stout nonetheless. So he could make one that is about 6 or 7%, but with the mouthfeel of a 10, 11, 12% one. So I have been looking towards lighter stouts, lighter porters. About this bottle, I like it. Unfortunately, again, this is a single-use bottle, no pfand or no return on this one. However, I love this label. I've already told you guys that I love the feel of these labels because, of course, this is still a brewery that is part of a winery, so they have quality paper, quality labels, and this is no exception. This is a nice matte black label with in lighter their logo and the name, and I do particularly love the use of orange and black with that dark gray, especially because it's a bit gradient, a bit smoky, hazy. Big fan of this team. Of course, again, my Malt Brothers Teku glass, and that means we are all settled to have a taste. These are not corked, these are just capped off, plain black bottle cap. Ooh, that already looks quite thick. Spilled a bit there. Okay, first off, I think we can call this pitch black. There is no light shining through whatsoever, not even on the bottom there. I do see a lot of bubbling in the glass, so nicely carbonated, a nice thick head of foam, quite creamy, medium to small sized bubbles, so that is a pass. And of course, we are not talking about off-white anymore. This is like brownish beige. This is quite dark foam. Ooh. Accident with the mic there. So, let's have a whiff. Ooh. Of course, this is very roasty, and that is normal, and there's a lot of roasted malt in here. But I also get a bunch of like berries. And then all the classics like fresh ground coffee, a bit of cocoa in there, but mainly roasty, woody, and berries. And also a tiny bit herbal. I wouldn't be surprised if they oak age this, since they are in a winery and they have the barrels. But on the other hand, I don't think that they use their barrels for this yet. Okay, let's have a taste. Cheers. Yeah. It does taste very light. It is very drinkable. But the flavor profile is complex and simple at the same time. It is straightforward, but it is quite complex in the sense that first we get a lot of roasted malt, very roasty flavors, barbecue, ashy even, which personally I do like. But I know that this is a love it or hate it situation, but I like when it's a bit ashy. We don't really get a lot of the berries in the flavor, just a very tiny hint. But I do get some pine resin and some tree bark, which is something I'm not used to in this particular style. Of course, not counting the Baltic Porter Day pine cone one, but that is of course a whole different category. Now, like I said, roasty, burnt, ashy, tiny bit of berries, pine, bark. A decent amount of coffee. And the surprising thing is that while there's a bit of cocoa in the nose, I can't find any cocoa in the flavor. So not chocolatey at all. This is very dry. There is practically no leftover sugar in this beer, which comes to me as a surprise because they did use added sugar. So to get to 6% with added sugar, I'm guessing they didn't use a lot of unroasted, not roasted malts. So they probably used a lot of roasted malt and then added sugar for the fermentation instead of a pale malt or a pilsner malt, or in very low amounts. Also, no sugar left, not for the added ones, not from the malt. So bone dry and actually pretty bitter, but like not hoppy bitter, but yeah, roasty bitter, as it should be in this style. Yeah, very nice. I do find it interesting that this brewer succeeds in taking a style, making its most classic version, and still making it complex in its simplicity. Very, very odd. But like I said, this is a very talented brewer. Aftertaste. I expected the aftertaste to be thinner. However, it's really nice. So the mouthfeel was already very nice, very nicely carbonated, but soft at the same time. But the aftertaste is exactly that. Bitter, dry, ashy, roasty, but mellow, soft. Really sticks, really lingers. So for a 6% ABV light tin stout, I am amazed by this mouthfeel and by this after flavor, meaning that I was planning on giving this a 3.5, but I have to nudge this up to a 3.75 just because of that. $3.75 it is. Yeah, I think I said everything I have to say about this beer. So all that's left for me is to thank you guys for watching again and again. If you like this video in particular, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or remarks. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll get notified whenever I upload something. And I will see you guys again in the next video. So, cheers you guys.